Good morning, Lee. Good morning, everyone. How are you
Good
this morning,
morning,
Lee?
Regina. Hi, everyone. Welcome to our Wednesday live on Friday.
Friday. True.
Life has its hiccups,
Yes.
right?
Amen.
And sometimes they're little hiccups. Like, I don't even remember what was going on Wednesday, but my week just kind of turned upside down. And I said to Regina, can we reschedule? That's a little hiccup. But sometimes there are huge hiccups.
Oh, yeah.
And I was reminded of this. Well, I'm reminded often about the huge hiccups and the impact of them. My partner Rick had an idea of one of our topics, grieving the invisible loved one. And my client, I have a grief client whose wife died in a tragic car accident in March. We spent the day together on Tuesday going to it's called Tower Hill Botanic Garden here in Massachusetts.
Oh,
It
nice.
is a gorgeous place. We brought Isaac because they had just opened a new ferry
Now you
area.
have to tell them who Isaac is.
Oh, Isaac is my 1.5-year-old grandson. Well, boy, did we have fun. And Jim was talking about that he and his wife had been to Tower Hill. It was one of their favorite places to visit throughout the whole year, had been there just 3 days before she died. And this was his first time back. So it was very bittersweet.
Right.
And spending the whole day together and the ride, we got to have a different kind of conversation than our 1-hour scheduled coaching session. And
Right.
Jim spoke about just this topic, the grieving the life that you thought you were going to live with a person.
Yeah.
And he began on our way there. He was telling me about a divorce that he had when he had 3 teenage kids. Their mom had mental health challenges and she left them. And he talked about how his world just turned upside down. And there were a lot of feelings and emotions around the event.
Right.
And her. He said, but one of the most impactful pieces of it was realizing that the life I had planned for the rest of my life,
yes,
suddenly was gone.
Was not going to happen the way you thought it was.
Yeah. Our plans for our kids, our plans for the vacations we wanted to take them on, the experiences we'd have together as a family, as a couple, retiring together and all of that. He said that was really hard to let go of all of that. And then he mentioned it was like a bookmark to the day. It was interesting. Right. On the way home, he brought that very same theme up again. He said, Wendy and I were supposed to live into our old age. And I don't know what to do now that all our plans won't happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things in the widowers group that I belong to online. I think that's one of the things that I see in there most often is that grieving for the life that won't be, that the plans they've made, the things that they thought were going to take place in their life with this partner are now not going to be. And in grieving that lost life, not just the life of the person who's gone, but the life that you planned together.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
So multiple layers of grief.
Multiple layers of grief, for sure.
Yeah.
You mentioned your widowers group. I wonder if you would comment on this in Facebook and share with our friends, our folks who come join us at Forgiveness Grief, what that group is.
Sure.
Helpful for them. And it's been a while too, Regina, since we mentioned the book you wrote.
Yes, it has. And I have a new goal to get it out there. I don't know what it is about this book. I honestly don't. And so I just want to share about that. So I was spiritually prompted to write the book. Wasn't in my plans. I was given the title of the book spiritually. And I was told, get it done. And this was before I met my current husband. And I dove into it, got going on it, and I was interviewing people for it. And every interview would send me back into the widow's fog every time. And so I realized that a couple of things. One, I didn't have enough time to interview everybody who was interested because I had about 70 people who raised their hand and said, yeah, I'd like to participate. And two, I couldn't handle that level of constantly going back into the grief fog. And recognize this is like a year and a half into my grief journey.
Right.
And so I created a Google Sheet and put all my interview questions in the Google Sheet, and then just sent that out to anybody that was interested and let them answer the questions there instead of me asking and them answering. Mm-hmm. So that was really helpful. And I pretty much had the book written by the time that Rendell and I got together. And I thought, okay, after a while, I thought, okay, that's why the Lord said to hurry it up, because he knew this was going to come and divert me from it, But I mean, that was in 2016, and I have not published this book yet. It is written. I've now added
fabulous.
Thank you. I've now added in Rendell's poetry to the chapters, his grief poetry. Each chapter has one of his poems at the end of it. I've sent it out and had people review it. But for some reason, I just don't seem to get it published. And I don't know why I keep pulling back from publishing it. I don't know.
Let's explore that someday.
Yeah, I'd love to.
Coming up with people who would benefit from your book.
Yeah, and a lot of people. I know there's a huge amount of benefit to it being out there. I know there are people who need it, and I really felt that's why the Lord said, get it out there. But I just, for some reason, continue to drag my feet on it. And maybe it's because, I in one part, I think it's because of the bestseller thing, because every book not every book, but most every book I put out there have worked at getting bestseller status on it. And there's a process to that. And there's, you got to get other people involved and all of that.
A lot of work.
And it's a lot of work. And I think that when I when I start to dive into it again and say, okay, let's do this, I think that's a little bit of what holds me back. It's like, I don't have the time and the energy to do that. So I need to get it out there and then get the word out about it, whether it hits bestseller status or not. I just need to get it out there. But then the word needs to get out so that people can benefit from it.
Right.
So I did bump it back up in my goal list. So we'll see if I can get it out there. But the book is called, and I'll share the cover with you.
Share the cover.
I love this cover.
Gorgeous cover.
Let's see here. Give me just a second to pull this up. So the book is called How to Mourn with Those That Mourn, a guide to understanding and preparing for grief. Because we are all going to experience it, right? If we're talking our married population, 50% of us are pretty close to it. 50% of us are going to be
grieving
at some point. Yeah. All right. So let's see. Share screen. Oops. Chrome tab. Where'd it go? Where'd it go? Cancel. Let's do this differently here.
While you're looking for it, I just want
Yes.
to throw out there, I kind of sidetracked us. I want to go back to Jim for just a minute. There was a point, as I mentioned, he bookmarked the day,
Right.
grieving his lost future. And he reflected after he shared with me about losing his current wife and that future. I have to remind myself that after my wife left me, I made it through. I succeeded. And a new, beautiful life came.
Yeah.
So maybe there's hope for the future. And I just want to remind our folks that, oh gosh, it feels like the end of the world. And when Regina shows you the cover of her book, I think that just speaks volumes about what we feel and such.
Can you see that now?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
This sculpture, someone introduced it to us, I think, in that grief group that I'm in. And my husband and I looked at that and we just went, oh my gosh, that so beautifully describes what happens when you're grieving the loss of a spouse, the loss of a child, and others, but especially those two relationships, that you're just hollow inside, right? And so we located the sculptor in Switzerland, I think, and reached out to him and got permission from him to use his sculpture on the front of the book. And it's just, it's just so perfect in describing visually what grief looks like.
Yep. It so totally is.
Yeah. So there's a tribute to him in the front of the book for, allowing us to use it.
Yep.
On the cover. Yeah, it's an amazing piece of artwork, but it's just the depth of loss that you can see there. I think
Right.
it's just a perfect sculpture to describe grief.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And there is hope. There is hope. I just was thinking as well, folks, Regina felt like that sculpture.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She absolutely
Yeah,
was that sculpture.
yeah.
But look at her now.
100%.
We see her smile. We
Yeah.
hear about so many things she's accomplishing and doing, and how life is different.
And I know we've talked about this before, but one of the key things in helping me move through the journey faster, get to a place of more equilibrium in this journey so you're not so off balance by it, was keeping a gratitude journal. That was an absolute catalyst in my healing. And I can't express that enough.
Yeah.
It was absolutely a catalyst.
Yep.
And to write in that journal every day things that I was grateful for that happened that day. Not, just the generic things that we're all grateful for, these generic things, but specifically, maybe, maybe it was just that somebody smiled at you. Maybe it was that you were able to smile. I remember my facial muscles just kind of forgetting how to smile. I remember standing in front of the mirror saying, okay, I have to
Let's
practice
practice.
smiling.
They had atrophied.
Yeah, seriously, they do, because you're just
Yeah.
you just don't feel like you have much to smile about for a while.
Right.
And that's
Right.
normal. That's
It
normal.
is.
But you can get past it.
Yeah.
You can get past it.
Yeah.
So
my wish for you folks in the week ahead is that you do find some hope, some gratitude, and reassurance
Yeah.
that even if your world has turned upside down, there's hope for a
Yeah.
different tomorrow.
Yeah. There is.
Yeah.
And you will get through it. And you will miss that person. Even if you move on, even if in my case, I remarried, but that doesn't mean I don't still miss my husband. It's not as poignant every day as it
Well, gee,
was
I
at the
wouldn't
beginning.
know that
Well,
by the
I
way I
sure would
see
either, but
you.
Yeah. It's that sense isn't as poignant as it was in the beginning, but it's still there. I still miss him.
Oh, yeah.
I still talk to him.
Yep.
Especially when things are tough, I reach out to him.
And the tears flow. Yes.
Yeah, if
And
I'm
that
having
is
a
all
difficult time.
okay and wonderful.
Yeah.
And it's okay to be happy.
And it is. And that is so important to recognize. You can miss them and grieve them and still find happiness.
Yep.
It may take a little while, but it's worth pursuing. It's worth continuing to look for that happiness and welcoming it and accepting it when it comes your way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, thank you so much.
Thank you, Lee. I'm so grateful we have this time together and that we were able to make it work this week.
Me too.
And so we should let you know, folks, we're kind of undergoing a little bit of calendar decision-making thing. So we're probably not going to be on Wednesday mornings for a little while. Who knows how long? Maybe a permanent shift. We're not sure. But we'll let you know what we arrive at. So we're calendaring.
Yes, we're calendaring. And I want to let folks know that we'll also transition at some point. My goals and deadlines didn't materialize quite the way I had hoped, but to sharing with you not only on Facebook, but on a new app,
Yes.
the Coach Rev app.
Love it.
That'll be coming.
Yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yep.
All right, folks, enjoy your weekend. Look for the bright spots.
Yes.
Be grateful and look for that joy. You can have joy again in your life, even while you're grieving.
Yes.
So look for the joy.
Yes.
We'll see you next week.
Bye
Bye-bye.
for now. Have a good week.